It's Alea Antoine. You're listening to Tease podcast.
Everyone loves the tease. Stop.
Don't get too excited.
I was outside of her house. Like, I was outside of this bitch's house when she canceled. But honestly, she may have sent me a fake address because after I asked for my deposit back, she blocked me. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tease podcast. It is so great to be back with y'all again. I was supposed to record this episode yesterday, but truth be told, it was just not working with me. Like, I had just got off of work. It was my first ever brunch shift, which went absolutely horrible. The brunch crowd was the worst. My other shift, I spent bartending in the rain. And then even today, I was supposed to do this earlier. And you know how I always record voice notes as kind of like an audio diary throughout the week, so that way I know what to tell y'all. I go to listen to the voice note for this specific episode, and every single voice note works except for this one. The file was fucking corrupted. And so that is kind of like, in a nutshell, how my week has been. I've had days where I've been like super productive. On top of it, I'm like, whoa, how am I doing all these things? I'm editing before work, going to work, doing stuff after, hanging out, and having the best day other than the next day. I park my car in front of my house and I don't even want to get out of it. I'm spending 20 minutes on the phone, which I know we all do. And it's crazy because I actually read an article and it said that the reason why you sometimes stay in your car instead of just going inside the house is usually because you came from like a stressful situation and you're avoiding another potential stressful situation. So you stay in the car because you know nothing's going to happen there. There's nothing that you're doing in life that's going to go wrong. You know what I mean? But on a more positive note, the YouTube has hit 50 subscribers. Oh my gosh, it is so crazy because I know that to a lot of people that may sound like a small number, but I have really been trying to practice gratitude, which we will talk more about. And so to me, the way that I'm looking at it is 50 people subscribed. And whether you see that as a small or big number, when I think about 50 people in a room, that is a big number. 50 people. I don't even think there's 50 people that work at the restaurant that I was in. I don't even think I've had 50 people in like my final class for college. So I am really excited that we're really building that community here. And the Ready, Set, Rebrand episode has over 400 views, which is also so shocking because that episode put me in a mental spiral. Like, I had skipped a week before that episode because I wasn't in town. I got stuck on the Delta mishap. Things were just going wrong. I had no time on my hands, finals. And then I just could not come up with a title after I had even recorded it. So the title Ready, Set, Rebrand didn't even happen till like 2 hours before I posted it. When I first posted it, it had no views for like 2 days. I made like 3 different thumbnails and it just had such a mental toll on me. And to see that episode is resonating the most with people is so exciting. And I'm taking this as a lesson of like, maybe you may think that something's going bad or that it's hard or that maybe you don't think it's your best work, but that doesn't mean that you're even correct about that, because other people, that may have just been exactly what they were looking for. So thank you so much if you listen to that episode and if you're subscribed to the YouTube. But lately, life has just been crazy. And like I said, I have been trying to practice gratitude and self-compassion more. And that is because I feel like I have become lately like a very cynical and negative person for the past couple months. I don't know what it is. I honestly think that it has a lot to do with like friendships, relationships, dynamics just with other people and just like with my own self. I tried to kind of heal that, and on Wednesday I decided, you know what? I'm going to do a self-care day to kind of like revamp my positivity and get myself together. I had just gotten my first paycheck for my new job and I had not gotten a pedicure in like weeks. And Kai, I was walking around the house and he goes, "Oh my God, your toes look absolutely disgusting." First of all, very fucking rude. Like, suck my toes, suck my ass. And also true. So I decided, you know what? This Wednesday, I am throwing responsibility out the window and I am doing a self-care day. Because that's what everyone says nowadays, right? Like, if you're feeling burnout, if you're feeling negative, take a rest day, do some self-care, girl. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to do that. You know where I might have went wrong? I decided to start my self-care day off with a Brazilian wax. Self-care, self-torture, there is just something about hot wax on your vagina lips that just... I've been getting a Brazilian for like 5 years, I think. It still has not gotten more comfortable. Like, I'm not gonna lie, to get me to that appointment, I go through like 3 cancellations. I book an appointment and then I chicken out. I book another appointment and then I chicken out. And then I do it again and I chicken out. And I just knew it was time because, you know, I like to do upkeep. It was getting a little wild and I was like, I need to go get this Brazilian. And the lady was really nice. She was telling me about her rave that she recently went to while I'm like burning down there. And yes, they do hurt, but yes, they're so worth it. I personally like Brazilians because you get to go from like completely bald to like a little bit of hair to like a little cute landing. Like, I don't know, it kind of like brings you through all the phases of where you can go and then you just start all over. Plus, if you deal with ingrowns, I think it's a good one. Besides that, I got the Brazilian, it was finally over, and I was like, okay, you know what? Nothing to take the pain off of my cooch like a good pedicure. So I go and I get a pedicure, and I decide to do like a cute little pinky white color. I know that white toes are the move, but like sometimes white just feels basic to get on your toes. Like, I get white toes in the winter when I'm not going to be wearing a lot of sandals, but normally I like to opt in for like some sort of like pink to white, maybe something with like a little bit of shimmer. But I decided to like be a little classy, be a little, I don't want to say demure. I don't want to say demure because demure has been ran through the mud. Demure has got a train ran on it. So we're going to say that I went with a little cutesy, classy pink. And while I'm getting my toes done, I'm enjoying it because there's only one other lady there. And I remember that they have complimentary wine. If you know anything about a girl getting her nails done, the best part is being able to drink during it. Like, I remember in high school, I had my fake ID and I would be at the nail salon like, can I have a blue Hawaiian, please? Because in Texas, they do it different over there. But this place, I decided, you know what? I just want a glass of red wine because red wine is my personal favorite. It's my favorite color. And it's the type of wine that just one glass and you're already tipsy. I love it. So I get the glass of red wine and she goes to grab it. But when she grabs it, she leaves the door cracked. And there's a trash can right outside of the door, fully open. I go to drink my wine and there is like 5 fruit flies on my cup. Keep in mind, I had already had a sip of the wine. So this was on my second sip that I noticed. So I put it down. I'm swatting away fruit flies. And honestly, I thought the lady would be like, is everything okay? Because while I'm getting my toes done, I'm whacking my arm around everywhere, moving, twitching, just like there's fruit flies, there's bugs, and I'm like stuck in this chair. And she just is ignoring it. And I see them flying around her head too. And I'm like, did you summon them here? Do we have an issue? How did they get here? Like, what is happening? Here's the part that I am a little embarrassed about. I was so determined to get that self-care in that I went in for another sip of the wine. And I knew that this sip would be my last sip because I was just like starting to have like that, you know, where you start getting the ick. Like, I was starting to get the ick, like I should not drink this wine. Who knows how old it is? And there's fruit flies and all this stuff just from her bringing out one glass. Who knows what's happening? I see the little fruit flies on the cup and I kind of shoo them away. I'm sorry, I was desperate. This is a desperate behavior. I admit it. I chug a big swig and then I just let the flies have at it. I let them drink the juice. But after that, it just kind of threw off a little bit of the self-care day. And then I was trying to sell this Coach purse that I got from two ex-best friends of mine. And I was trying to sell it. The lady was already harassing me on Marketplace. And she was like, excuse me, I need you to meet me at this time, like, just tell me what to do. And I was like, girl, I will meet you on my own time. I meet her and she snatches the bag out of my hand and goes, the inside is not clean. I don't like it. There was one lipstick stain on the inside, which I had already taken a picture of. And she just throws it, kind of like just pushes it back at me and is like, I'm not taking this. But honestly, it's my fault because what did I expect? Her name was Dawn. What was I thinking? That she was going to be kind, sweet. Honestly, after that, I decided to delete Facebook because I had also gotten into some shit on that app. Like, guys, I hate to admit it, but I became a Facebook troll. Oh my God. I lost my mind this week. I don't know what happened, but I decided to drink a cup of Haterade. I got trigger fingers and I went to Facebook. First of all, that is not who I am. Second of all, that is not how old I am. I am 22. Why the fuck am I even on Facebook? And third of all, of course, I'm going to tell you the story. So the reason why I got trigger fingers on Facebook was because, so I am in a bunch of JBLM Facebook groups. And basically what that means is like there's an army base over here and people like will regularly sell furniture, they'll sell clothing, and it's even less than actual marketplace prices because it's military people selling to military people. So when Kai was in, we joined a bunch of them. And like that was all that I had Facebook for. Like I don't use it at all. Pinky promise, don't skip out on me, don't break up with me, I promise I don't use it. But back in 2022, I wanted to get a set of acrylics, and this girl said that she did acrylics, she had all these pictures, she had an Instagram. I scheduled her an appointment with her, I sent her the deposit, she already knew I was driving over there. On the drive over there, she canceled my appointment. I was outside of her house. Like, I was outside of this bitch's house when she canceled. But honestly, she may have sent me a fake address because after I asked for my deposit back, she blocked me. So I made a post on that group and I said, hey, for anyone about to get their nails done from this girl, be careful. I still haven't got my deposit. I think it was a scam, all this stuff. After she sees that post, she decides to refund me it. And I decide I am never getting my nails done from anyone in this group again, right? Fast forward, it's 2023. It's New Year's and I'm like, okay, I want my nails done, but I know that I'm not going to get scammed again. I'm going to go through all the steps. And the girl who scammed me last time, her name was Markaya. So I see that this girl, Kay, posted and she said that she does nail services. Do the double check, book my appointment, send her the deposit. In about 45 minutes before my appointment, she cancels on me. I asked for my deposit back. She blocks me. So I decide to go on that Facebook group. I type in K Martin and I see my old post from 2022 and someone wrote in the comments, she goes by K now. I got scammed by the same girl twice. Not once, but twice. Shame on me. I got scammed by the same exact person. I can only imagine how dumb I looked to her. She probably was like, I'm gonna hit this bitch with 2 for 2. At this point, I don't even post about it on Facebook. I just am harassing her over messages, like from different accounts, and she finally sends me my refund back. Okay, now it's 2024. I am scrolling on this Facebook group. This is why I needed to delete the app. And I see that someone is offering to do cake services. And who is it? It is Markaya /K / her husband, Bryce. And they're saying that they do cakes, everything. And for some reason, I was just filled with rage. But I was about to have to go to work. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. It's already been a couple of years. I'm over it. I got my money back finally. It's these people's things to deal with. I did not have that same sanity when I woke up, because when I woke up, I went straight to Facebook, commented, "This girl's a scammer," screenshotted all the stuff from 2022. But I didn't admit that she scammed me twice. I only said it to the one time. You know what I mean? I made this post on it, and I just thought maybe like one or two people would see it, because that's what happened last time. This Facebook group post went viral within like 5 minutes. And it was not people siding with me. There was maybe one or two people like, "Oh, girl, thank you. I agree. I got scammed by her." But the majority of the comments were people telling me that I was ruining a family's only form of income, that I was stupid, a bitch, a cunt, that it's been 2 years, get over it. Don't I have anything better to do with my life? I deserve to get scammed. Just going in on me. Yeah, I was not expecting that. I immediately, within 10 minutes, deleted this post, because within 5 minutes, like, this had already gone like 200 reactions and comments, and in a small group that's like way more than I expected. I didn't even want to interact. Like, it's Facebook. I'm not interacting with 30 and 40-year-olds who like are posting their child from the military. Like, I only go in there to buy clothes and buy furniture, and somehow I turned into a troll. I metamorphosized into a social media troll. I am not proud of it. I deleted the app, I deleted the post, and I will never be interacting on it again. But this really did make me think of, how are people able to troll other people online? Because, I mean, maybe it's the fake screen names and stuff, and that is what made me change it. But I obviously didn't have a fake screen name. It was just straight up Alea. And I instantly wanted to go off the grid, delete all my socials, and I hated it. So if you're ever thinking of, one, joining Facebook, don't. It's 2024. What the fuck are you doing? And two, don't become a social media troll, because even if you're fighting for the right thing, people are going to be mad at you. And yeah, it honestly got to me. Like, I kind of spent like 2 hours just marinating in the awkwardness and the shame of that it happened. And I feel like that's just how I've been like living life lately, is just like marinating in my upsetness. You know what I mean? Like, yes, we all have bad days, but there's nothing worse than having a bad day, deciding to pick yourself back up, and then having a bad day again. Like, the first bad day is fine, but the second one, I'm like, oh. But yeah, my interactions with people, y'all have heard my friendship stories, have just like not been too swell lately. I think it's also because like I just go through waves of like, I either want to be out and that's the only thing that I want to do, or I am like completely antisocial and don't want to go out. Like, I haven't gone out partying in like weeks, versus there was a time where I was going out like 4 times a week. Like, I don't know how to find a balance. Like, even my friend was DJing this week, and I was so excited to see her DJ. But like, once we got there, maybe it was like the commute and everything, by the very end, I was just so burnt out, so tired. Me and Kai start arguing because we're both grumpy. I don't know what we were arguing about. And it was just like, oh, like, why am I not doing well with people right now? I even planned my first outing with a coworker. Honestly, I never thought that I would hang out with any of my coworkers, because when I got this job, I was like, I'm not making friends. I'm just going to work. And again, I think that that's just a result of like trauma with other friendships. But I decided, you know what? The best way to get over trauma is submersion therapy. I need to like put myself out there. So we make plans to hang out. And as soon as I got in my car, I instantly regretted it. You know, when you just make plans and you're instantly like, why the fuck did I do that? I don't want to go anymore. I like called Kai and I was like, I don't want to go. Da, 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 da. Should I just cancel on him? Like, should I not go? And Kai's like, just go. You already said yes. Just go for a little bit. And I honestly am really happy that I did. I think that it helped restore my faith in humanity just a smidge. This was a hangout that actually opened up a whole different perspective for me, which I would love to share with you guys. So the corker that I went out with is a guy, and we get there and it is like this hole in the wall, people smoking cigarettes, like people just talking. Like, it took me back to all of my previous serving experiences when you just meet other bar people and there, everyone's just chilling there. You know what I mean? Like, it reeked of cigarettes, joints, but also it made me feel alive. It made me feel like I'm a part of the working class people. Like, sometimes it's just nice to be in like those humbling scenarios, you know? We go out, we're talking, and honestly, I was surprised that we were hanging out because normally I have had guy friends, but I don't really tend to hang out with guys that often. I mean, at this point, I don't hang out with anyone that often, but we're talking about our experiences, and he's this really pretty guy, and every time we have shift change, there is like so many women just swarming the bar top to see him, flirting with him. Like, think about pretty girl bartender and how the men act, and now reverse it. And the whole time in my head, I'm thinking, all men love attention. All men love being hit on. He must be soaking it up, right? We're talking, and he tells me that it actually makes him feel uncomfortable. It makes him feel objectified. He also sometimes doesn't even want to interact with other men because he feels like it's not going to go well. And it was so crazy to hear that because I completely relate to that experience as a woman. And I told him, I was like, that's something that I feel on the daily. That's something that I know all girls feel on the daily. Like, we feel unsafe. We feel like we can't interact with people sometimes. We feel like people aren't looking at us, but looking through us. And to hear that a guy was having these same similar experiences was such an eye-opening perspective for me. And I wanted to come on and say that, like, I never want to seem like I am discrediting experiences that other people face. And I also don't want to sound like a complete man basher, man hater. When I do this podcast and I tell my stories and everything, I want to be truthful and honest. And I've had a lot of bad experiences, as we all have with men. It's just the truth, and we have to hold that accountable. But I think that there's also room to acknowledge that we share some of the same experiences with them. And I hate to say it, but I don't hate to say it. That's a crazy statement. I don't hate to say it, but I want to say it. There are good guys out there, and I never want to seem like I think that every single one of them's bad. And so this was a very good way for me to see, one, it is important to break those barriers. No matter how much you are feeling down and out about relationships, friendships, other people in general, it is important to continuously put yourself out there because that is how you learn about new perspectives. And I also want to tell you, for my straight girlies, for my gay guys, for anyone who's into mid out there are good ones out there because it was a great conversation. It was completely respectful. It was eye-opening. There was no flirting, no crossing the line. Like, it was a great hangout. And to think that I was about to not go because of my past trauma, because of my scaredness with people, I would have missed out on that honestly life-changing perspective. And I think that it's going to make me walk through life a little bit happier, maybe a little bit more open. And so, yeah, I just know that I'm someone who like doesn't handle stress, trauma, bad interpersonal relationships well. Like, I tend to just go in a cocoon and not want to see any and everyone. But I know that that's like not how you can live life. And so I've been trying to practice ways to be more grateful in my everyday life, have more gratitude to like relieve that stress. And so I wanted to help you guys out if you're feeling cynical, if you're feeling like people are bad, if you're feeling like life's bad, if you're feeling like you're bad. I want to practice ways to bring on that self-compassion. And I think that it starts with realizing that you're just human and that you are weak. And when I say that, I don't mean weakness as a bad thing, but like for me personally, I think that one of the reasons why I have trouble accepting my own struggles and accepting challenges is because I am constantly taking on that quote unquote strong Black woman role, or that strong woman role. And the problem is when we're continuously telling ourselves that we're strong, our brain sometimes takes that as, I just need to push past this and get over it. How many of us have been crying and you hurry up and wipe your face because you're like, I have things to do. I need to be strong. I think that a lot of that can stem from, it could stem from race. It could stem from your place in the household. If you're an oldest daughter, I know damn well that sometimes you feel like there's no one else that I can rely on except myself. And when I used to go to therapy, I remember, this is really personal, but I was talking to my therapist and she was like, why do you have such a hard time admitting that you're stressed out, admitting that you're sad, admitting that you're scared of people, admitting that you're scared of yourself, admitting that you're scared of failure? Like, why do you have a hard time admitting that those things? And she was so confused as to why I never wanted to really marinate in sadness. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like, instead of just like letting my sadness hit on like a healthy level, it's more like I spew in frustration, and my cry and my upsetness isn't because I'm just sad, but it's more like this freak out, and I feel like I have to like push past it and move on. Like, I feel like I can't be sad and leave it at that. You know what I mean? I feel like I have to push forward, move on, and be strong. I think that a lot of that can come from if you're hyper independent, and if you were in a childhood to where you felt like you had to take care of yourself. The best way that I could describe this is, I told my therapist at the time, I was like, well, sometimes I feel like there's two voices in my head. Like, I feel like there's me who's me, and there's me who's like the parent telling myself what to do. And it actually is really common, and it's a trauma response to having to take care of yourself at a young age. Like, I would say that at least from like high school years, probably even before that, I was a lot of my own guardian in life. I provided a lot of my own resources, you know? And so I could see a lot of roles to where this type of inner dialogue can happen. The first things, of course, that pops in mind are like oldest daughters, first generation, maybe if you're a minority, women. If you just were at a place to where you were solely relying on yourself, it becomes really hard to accept defeat in a healthy way, and it becomes really hard to trust other people, and it becomes really, really easy to be cynical. Like, I don't want to open up to other people. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. I just feel like my relationships with myself and with other people are just failing, and so instead of letting them fail anymore, I just don't even want to try at them anymore. That hangout was something that I really needed, because it reminded me that you do have to keep trying and that you do have to keep moving on. So if you're someone who's feeling very unself-compassionate to yourself and you're feeling uncompassionate to others, you're feeling cynical, I think that a great way to get past these moments, to get past these lows, is to practice gratitude. And that sounds so corny. And I know it sounds corny because I've been avoiding the word gratitude for months now. Like, I've heard so many people tell me, practice gratitude. You see these TikToks, you see these things, gratitude. But I feel like whenever people tell you to express gratitude, they always tell you the corny way. They tell you, be happy that you have an arm and a leg, which is true, but it's also so basic that it's like, I know that I am inherently grateful for that, but I need something else to make me grateful to just like be alive, not that I'm surviving. You know what I mean? So I did write down some ways to practice gratitude that are not the typical ones that you hear about, because it's not as simple as being happy that you're alive and surviving. You want to be happy that you're just actually living, and living is dynamic. So some ways I like to practice gratitude now are by keeping busy. And I know that a lot of people tell you keeping busy is just a way to avoid your thoughts. Sometimes I think that's okay. It's okay to avoid your thoughts if they're negative. Hot take. I don't think that you always need to be super present with yourself and be super present in your sadness. Maybe that's bad advice. Maybe that's where I've gone wrong. But I think that if you're keeping busy and it's bringing you positivity, then that can actually make you focus on the positive. Like when I go to work, yes, I'm keeping busy. Yes, it's stressful, but I am focusing on, wow, I had a good interaction with this person. Wow, I hung out with my coworker and this was really fun, versus coming home and just sitting in the sadness, you know what I mean? And maybe not getting yourself out of that. Confiding in others. I feel like when I call Kai and talk to them about it, or when I call my mom and talk to them about it, it makes me feel better. Sometimes even just saying your problem out loud really does make it feel smaller. You know what I mean? Like there's been times where I've been so upset, I say it out loud and I'm like, wait, that isn't a big deal. But in my head, it feels huge. So just putting it out there, don't make the same mistake 3 times. Make a mistake once. That's okay. I'm trying to learn that. Make a mistake twice. Some people say don't do that. I think it's okay because you're not an expert yet. Give yourself the 3 times rule. You make the mistake once, it's your first time living, you had no idea. You make it twice, fuck, I forgot that I shouldn't have done that. Don't let yourself make it 3 times. Sometimes look at the numbers, like how whenever I started this off saying about like the 50 subscribers, maybe you're thinking, man, at work this week, I only made $800 and some people make $800,000. Think of it as if someone just put 800 single dollar bills somewhere. Would you want it? Because I would. Sometimes look at the numbers and realize that they actually are big. We just live in an oversaturated society to where people want bigger than big. People want larger than life. Your big is still big. Even if someone else's may seem ginormous, yours is still big. A $20 tip at work, that is 20 extra dollars. You know what I mean? Yes, it's not a $200 tip, which would be great, but it's better than a $5 tip. It's better than a $1 tip. Sometimes looking at the numbers and thinking, hey, this may not be ginormous and it may not be what you see on a social media post as like 100,000, but it's still a big stepping stone. And compared to where you were yesterday, it's a lot more than you had before. Pick days to push yourself. Don't push yourself every day. So like how yesterday I kind of just took my L and accepted the defeat. I don't think you always have to push yourself. I think it's okay to sometimes admit defeat and just wave the white flag and wait for the next day. Because sometimes when I push myself to do things when I'm not ready for it, I end up just spewing in more frustration. I end up being like even more mad than I was before. Another way is looking for the love in your life. This sounds cheesy and this sounds corny, but I've been watching Sex and the City, and on Sex and the City, they are all constantly talking about how they don't have a relationship. They don't have the perfect man. All they have is their friends. They're single and they're in their 30s and it sucks. And when I watch that show as someone who is in a good relationship, I can't help but think, I wish that I had the friendships that they had. I wish that I had a girl gang, a girl group to be a part of. Don't worry, I know the show's fictional, but if they just realize how much love that they have from their friends, they would be so much happier. And then it got me to thinking, wait, I could think about that in Uno reverse. Yes, I'm struggling in the friendship department, but I have a really good relationship right now. And I don't want to discount that love. I'm working on a relationship with my parents. I don't want to discount that love. And so, yes, I am desperately honestly craving the friendships that I once had, the connection that I once had. But that doesn't mean that my life is void of connections. I still have that. And there's people out there that would kill for a good relationship as much as I would kill for a good friendship. And so realizing where the love does come in from your life. Another way that I've been practicing gratitude, which is like a physical way that you can practice, is by writing down on a gratitude notes app things that you're grateful for throughout the day when you're frustrated. So when I was doing this episode, the voice memo that I used to like brainstorm, the file got corrupted. I don't know how. It was the only voice memo that didn't work, and I was bawling, crying. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do about this episode. My whole weekly diary is gone. I need to start from scratch and I need to record today. And so I just started writing down things that I am happy about to sort of distract myself from what was going wrong. And I'll read some of the things to y'all because they don't have to be big. I put when Amazon delivers on time because sometimes I forget my stuff. I put clean sex. You know, when you have sex and you don't need to take a shower after because you weren't that messy. Love that feeling. I'm grateful for not being hit every time that I'm in the left lane in my car. You know, when you're in the left lane and people are turning and you just keep thinking if this person turns a little bit wider, they're going to just turn right into me. I'm grateful that every time I've been in the left lane so far in life, I have survived. I'm grateful for the elevator rides alone. There's nothing better than not having other people on your elevator ride. Guys, when I get to my apartment, I am like sprinting, making sure no one else is about to walk in, right? I am grateful that I have found out people's villain story. Yes, I've lost friends, but there's people in their lives to where those toxic people are still there because they haven't found out that they're the villain in their story. And I'm glad that I found mine so far. I'm grateful for the opportunity to even be able to talk to y'all. I'm upset that my voice memo got deleted, but there was a time where I didn't have a camera, I didn't have lights, I didn't have a mic, and I didn't have a vision. At least now the only thing missing was a voice app. That's it, you know what I mean? So those are some ways that I've been trying to practice gratitude. Again, I am a novice. I'm not perfect at this, not even close, but maybe we can all start the journey together because I think that it would make me a little happier. Because for that slight moment where I decided to be a little less cynical and hang out, I didn't absolutely regret it. Now, I am super excited to transition into a Tease Me question, stories, advice. If you want to submit a question, you can submit anonymously on the form. It's linked in the bio on the Instagram, the YouTube. It's linked in the description below. Send in your questions, send in your stories, send in your advice. We did get one recently, and it said, are you a jealous person, and how do you deal with jealousy? I think that I can look at this question from two different perspectives. One is dealing with jealousy that happens to you, and then dealing with jealousy that happens to other people. I do think that I'm an envious person. I think that I tend to compare myself to others a lot on social media, and there are things that people have that I want. So yeah, I probably do have jealousy in me. And I also have dealt with people being jealous of me. I told you about that one friend where we stopped being friends because she said that she felt bad about herself around me. Some ways that I deal with my jealousy towards other people is I don't go on social media when I first wake up. Whenever I go on social media, whenever I first wake up, I just feel like the rest of my day is like this endless comparison. So I try not to do that anymore. Another way that I deal with my jealousy towards other people is by getting to know people and also taking people out of those rose-colored lenses. So like, yes, I want to be this person maybe, but also acknowledging that like maybe she has a real life. She has real things that she's going through and that her burdens and also her wins were like made specifically for her. And just realizing that you can be jealous all you want, but you're never going to be that fucking person. You can be jealous for hours, for days, for years, and it will never turn you into her. It will never make you into that person. So what is the point in spewing in jealousy when you know that you cannot morph into another person? I can't turn into her. I can't. No matter what I do, no matter what I try, I can't be another person. I've tried to be like other people and it doesn't work because the real you always fights back at one point in time. Faking it doesn't work. That's why they say fake it till you make it. It's because you can't fake it forever. If that was the case, they would say fake it forever. A way that you deal with other people being jealous of you is that you honestly can't have them in your life if they're not rooting for you. Like, I think that if you have someone who like is jealous of you, that's not a friend, that's a foe. I think that a real friend wouldn't actually be jealous of you. They would be supporting of you and they would also acknowledge that like you're a real person, you know what I mean? Which is why when I'm jealous of people, it's never really like my actual friends. It's people that I don't really know. And so if you really know a person, you won't be jealous of them. So the best way to deal with people being jealous of you is honestly to cut them off and don't tell them your secrets, because if you tell them your secrets, they may use it to come back and hurt you. And yeah, jealousy can just really turn really sour, and you never know with who you're dealing with. So if you sense that people are jealous of you, no matter how much you love them, distance yourself from them until you feel like they could be happy for you winning, because jealousy breeds insecurity, and insecurity brings anger, meanness, harm. And so the best way to deal with people being jealous of you is to keep doing you, keep being happy, and cut them off and distance yourself. All right, guys, that is everything that I have for y'all this week. We should all make a gratitude notes app. If you do make one, type in some things that you're grateful for on the question stories advice form. And I actually have a surprise coming for y'all, which includes a Tease playlist, because I want us to keep the fun, upbeat, cunty, feeling myself vibes. This is what you're going to listen to when you're feeling down. And so I will be making the playlist available on Spotify for sure. Let me know if y'all want me to put it on like Apple Music or anything else, but I'll be dropping it by the end of this week, so you can expect to see it at the latest Sunday. So keep your eyes peeled and drop some song recommendations if you have any too. Okay, guys, I love y'all. Be sure to subscribe, rate, review, share this with a friend, and I will see you next Tuesday. Love you guys. Bye. I don't know how that one went.